There are so many lessons in dating in pop culture currently, from Taylor Swift to even Britney Spears. Dating expert extraordinaire Bela Gandhi here to chat all about it. Thank you so much for your time today. So great to see you.
So great to be here. I'm so excited.
I feel like there's all these moments in pop culture now, and I think if you're really paying attention, these can be nuggets that we can take away in our own or personal lives.
Yeah, because these celebrities, at the end of the day, they're just like us, Rudy, right? And they go through the same things, ups, downs. They find the lid to their pot. They get their hearts broken. Life is life. We're all humans.
And obviously, everyone's talking about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey. Let's talk. But she met the mom. She was hanging out with the mom. She just met the dad. I mean, how important is it, and when is a good time to maybe get in good with the parents?
Well, it looks like right away if we're looking at the speed of their relationship right now. So I think the most important thing is to answer your question. Yes, if you can get in good with the parents, it's only a huge bonus from the beginning all through your life. Now, when you want to meet each other's parents is going to depend on what the circumstances are, right? I mean, he happens to be an NFL football player. She happens to be a superstar celebrity hanging out in the box. She's going to meet mom and dad pretty quick because it happens to be football season when they started dating, right?
Yeah.
But for the rest of us mere mortals, if you live in the same city, you might get invited to a family brunch for Mother's Day, or you might get invited to Thanksgiving. But for others, it might be more structured, meeting the family. You might have to get on a plane and fly to another city. But what's most important is that you and your partner are both on the same page about how and when to do it.
You just mentioned that right now, and especially with the holiday. I mean, it's the holidays are fast approaching. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, whatever holiday you may celebrate. Is that a good time to meet the parents for the first time, or should you try to do maybe like a Zoom if you're not in the same city, or meeting them ahead of time instead of or should that first time be a big occasion?
I'm a dating coach, right? The first dates are short and sweet. So let's take that to meeting the families or the parents the first time. Maybe when it's lower stress, do a Zoom, have a brunch, stop by the house for a drink. Those are easy meetings, right? And then they feel more casual on both sides because it's stressful for the parents as well, not just for the kids, right? So because everybody wants it to go well. We're all invested in having great relationships with the parents of the person we love, or like the significant other of our kid.
Oh, exactly. And especially too, you mentioned that like you're trying to cook the food, you're trying to get dressed, you're trying to clean the house, extra people might be coming over, and you may not be on your A game because you're already stressed out. And meeting a new person is like it may be number 17 on your list on that day, but it could be number one if it was the week before or 2 weeks before.
100%. Like I love hosting, but it gives me anxiety. So I wouldn't have someone important coming to my house when I was hosting because I know I would not be the shiny, fun version of me. I'd be like, do you need another margarita? Do we need to refill the chips? So that would be me. So I wouldn't be able to pay the person as much attention as I would want. So I'm with you.
Okay, if you're hosting and you're handing out margaritas and chips, I need to get an invite. This sounds like a great party.
Heck yeah, those are my parties.
That is awesome.
You're
The
invited.
Golden Bachelor, that's also another thing. The show's become so popular, and we're getting to see maybe the dating lives of people that are 70 and over, maybe for the first time for so many people. If it's not a parent or a step parent that we get to see, within our own family. But is dating different at that age? As far as like maybe some of your clients that you have that are maybe a little bit older in age, do you give them the same advice as your 30 and 40-year-olds, or is it really the same thing?
It's basically the search for a partner is the search for a partner, right? We have a process to do that. So whether you're 20 or 80, it's very similar. The only thing that would change is if you're, 20, 30, 40, and you want to meet someone to have kids and your timelines are different. Like that's a bit of a different thing, but definitely when you're over 50, 60, 70, it can be a great time to date because all of those stressors are way more mitigated than when we're in our 20s and 30s, right? We don't have to get married again. We're not thinking about having kids with somebody. We might be thinking about, wow, I could be a step grandparent. I could get more grandkids through my booze people. So it's a really fun, good time to date. And, the data says, Rudy, that there's 118 million single Americans unmarried over the age of 18, but 35 million of those are over the age of 50. So it's a great big pool and it's a great time to date.
It's also interesting that you mentioned that too, because I feel, within this conversation and just, reading up, preparing for this interview, is that in your early 20s, you don't have a lot of responsibilities. You can kind of be yourself. And then mid 20s, 30s, 40s happen. You might have kids. You might have a lot of responsibilities with jobs. But when you're looking at this crowd, especially on the Golden Bachelor, most of them are retired, semi-retired. So you're in a different place where you're not having those like extra stress factors. Like, I got to take the kids to soccer practice. That it's more like, it feels like it's a calmer time for people to meet somebody.
It can be a calmer time. But then on The Bachelor, didn't that one woman that Jerry really liked have to leave because her daughter really needed her? I was like, so it never ends. This kid thing, they always pull her like, Mom, you need to come home from national TV because I need you now. Okay, great. But yeah, that was like, that kind of told me that once a parent, always a parent.
Yeah, no, I mean, she had that same conversation with Jerry. She was like, I'm a mother first. I would like to do this as part, but like, I gotta go. And that's also, maybe the factor of maybe dating someone later in life is that maybe you already have a ton of responsibilities. You're not creating these responsibilities together. So that could also be a factor in that as well, too, of like, hey, these other people, may come first before our relationship.
And maybe that's why she's still single.
Or maybe she just wanted a way out and didn't know how to say it.
Well, I was kind of thinking that too. I'm like, wow, this is kind of like, that could be what we call an avoidant personality in the dating world. Like, as soon as you feel like something has legs, you got to get out of Dodge because your attachment system isn't working.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how this plays out in the next couple of weeks. If she comes back, if she releases some more information,
she'll be back. It's TV. It's The Bachelor, season 1008.
She's coming back. Britney Spears is also about to release a brand new book. She's spilling some of the details of her relationship with Justin Timberlake from the late 90s, early 2000s. Obviously, that's their own business, and we'll read in the whole book of everything. But especially kind of going back to someone's hometown or meeting a friend for the first time. I don't think everyone's 100% honest with their past, and maybe you don't need to be. But there's always those things that come out when you meet somebody. They're like, oh, you didn't tell me this, or I didn't know that, or I wish you would have told me this first. Let's talk a little bit about maybe keeping some secrets or some things that maybe you didn't think are part of your new relationship, but if they come out, they could shift the other person's perception of you.
Right. I mean, those are things that you don't need to reveal right away. That's in the TMI bucket, right? Like, oh, I had a baby when I was 18, or I had an abortion when I was 18. When you're dating somebody and you're 40 years old, maybe you'll want to disclose that later, but that's nothing that needs to come out right away at any point. But at a certain point, you have to think to yourself, some months in, maybe when you're exclusive with somebody and you stop dating other people, could this little nugget be significant to the person I'm dating? And when in doubt, disclose that so that you don't get into that, well, why didn't you tell me that before? Right? So tell it earlier on, but you've got to wait, 15, 20 dates, be exclusive until you start revealing. Look, we all have complexities. We all have stuff from our past. There's no human that doesn't. You just have to think about when is the right time to reveal that and check in with yourself. When does it feel right to do that? And when in doubt, always put yourself in your partner's shoes. Would I be mad if I found that out 5 years later? Well, guess what, Boo? It's time to disclose it now.
Yeah, I mean, and it goes on to, kind of tailing off of that. Let's say you're going to introduce them to like an old friend of yours, someone you went to college with, a cousin or a relative, and that they know things about you that, maybe they have, a couple of drinks or they're feeling really comfortable and let something slip out. Should you tell your partner ahead of time, like, hey, so-and-so and I, we used to party a lot, or here's something that like kind of happened, so it may come up, or just kind of cross your fingers the other person doesn't say anything?
I mean, it really depends. You've got to know your person and you've got to know the other person you're with. And if you feel like that your friend or your ex or whoever is more discreet, then that's fine. You should pray, but you know, that it doesn't come out. But if you feel like there's a high probability that something bad's going to come out, what's going to happen, even if you don't disclose it, is your behavior is going to change. You're going to start acting all weird. And then your person's going to realize it. The person across the table from you, your friend, is going to realize it. So that's also a disaster. So you've really got to be strategic about what you're going to say and when. And it's, you know, usually to some extent, honesty is the best policy, because then it's off your chest. That person can deal with the information, and then the air is cleared.
Oh my God, Bella, you always have the best advice for everybody. Thank you so much for your time today. SmartDatingAcademy.com is where you go ahead and find her. And so great to catch up, and so great to see you.
So great to see you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.